Are you ready to listen to a podcast?
Here comes the Playhouse Podcast, thanks to Bradshaw and Bryan Law Offices.
Find, subscribe, and listen.
Apparently everyone has a friggin' problem. And they brought their problems to the Playhouse. This is the People's Court. Yes, I said People's is, so we don't get sued.
So I feel like Grandma and Grandpa's house we go, like you anticipate a fun time, keep it light. That's what grandparents do. They bake cookies and show you a good time. They don't talk about politics with you.
This is the email we got from Paula. She said, my husband's parents have been brainwashing my 13 and 11-year-olds. They know I'm a Democrat. They make it their mission to always talk politics and slam Democrats to the kids. I don't mind people having different opinions. I do mind when you try to force your beliefs down my kids' throats. Now, we're going to go away for 4 days, and the kids are staying at their house. I told my husband, please talk to your parents and not have them talk politics with the kids. He said he didn't want to get involved. Plus, he's a Republican, and he likes what his parents are doing. Should I talk with his parents about not trying to brainwash my kids, or should I talk to the kids and tell them not to listen to Grandma and Grandpa when it comes to politics? Anybody else been in this position and they're having arguments with family members over politics?
Well,
thanks, Paula.
Question, Paula. What's the end game for these in-laws?
The end game would be to have your kids make up their own mind, right?
Well, I'm just saying for these grandparents, what's the end game? Like you sit there and talk politics with two young kids that can't really process. What's the end game for you? For you to recruit them and then they're young Democrats.
I think that's always the game. If you believe strongly in something else, listen, I will tell every single kid I see that soccer and lacrosse is stupid because I'd like them to play baseball.
Yeah. If you're a Democrat, if you're a Republican and all you do is talk about politics, I'm letting you know right now you're losing people. You're losing friends. You're losing people that want to hang with you.
They don't see it that way, though.
I know they don't.
Because they sync up with like-minded people that are so fanatic on one side or the other like them, and that's where they find some kind of purpose.
I'm dealing with this right now with somebody that, sadly, I used to be friends with. And it's like when that consumes every part of you and you can't let your guard down and have a good time with your grandkids, I think it's weird.
This is the People's Court. Yes, I said People's is, so we don't get sued.
So I get this email from Paula, and she says, guys, my husband's parents are trying to brainwash my 13 and 11-year-olds. They know I'm a Democrat. They make it their mission to always talk politics and slam Democrats with my kids. My husband and I are going to go away for 4 days, and they're staying at Grandma and Grandpa's house. I asked my husband to talk to his parents about this. He said, no, I don't want to get involved. Plus, he's a Republican, and he likes what his parents are doing. Should I have a talk with the parents? Should I have a talk with my kids? Anybody else in this position? So we thought we'd throw this out with the People's Court and our friends at the law offices of Kelm and Reuter.
So Matthew had this text, and I'm not sure if I agree with that. Politics are involved in everything in my life. My issue with her question is she clearly states that she doesn't have a problem with other people's views, but this is having a problem with the grandparents' views. Who cares? Let them give their pitch, and then you can give yours. And then the kids will have both sides to base their alliance when it comes to their politics. They are 11 and 9.
Here's the problem.
Leave them alone, Matthew. That's my problem with this whole thing.
The word alliance is what I have a problem with because a lot of people don't listen. They just decide, I'm a Democrat, I'm a Republican.
Yeah.
You don't have to align with anything. You should hear what they're saying and agree or disagree. And that's what I guess my biggest problem is when people vote along lines because you're one way or the other.
Yeah.
Like if you label yourself, now you're already on a path. And you feel like you're off your path if you don't make an independent choice.
I feel like this conversation, we're like acting like it's all adults involved. Why are they not going to the zoo? Why are they not doing fun things? Go to the movies, go axe throwing. How can you possibly think that you'll get anywhere speaking about politics with young kids like this? They don't care. Don't waste your breath.
Caitlin, thoughts on Paula's email?
This mom sounds like one of those hippie liberals that we have way too many of, and they're just totally ruining our country. So,
oh, my God.
Yeah, she should just put it into park and keep her mouth shut.
Oh.
So I saw this yesterday, and I thought it was really funny. Pencils that were produced in the 1990s. You know, you got those little swag bags from Darren the Lion, who was the Dare mascot. Dare you not to do drugs.
Didn't they have a dog? It was a lion, though, huh?
The dog is McGruff, the crime dog. But it said on the pencil, too cool to do drugs. Now they're recalling them because when you sharpen them, they go down to just do drugs on the pencils.
And if you've never heard the song before, guys.
Oh, God, it's awesome.
Don't do drugs.
No.
Oh, don't you do it now. Don't do drugs.
No.
Someone pays you for a move when they say come on, be cool. Just be smart and heed this rule. Don't do drugs.
I mean, this transcends decades.
They still have the DARE. Is the DARE program still in schools?
I am not sure. That's a
Well,
good
your son's
question.
in what grade now?
He's in 4th.
Yeah, they haven't had any whiffs of
No.
DARE.
So it's around 5th grade you do it before you enter, the years where they're starting to be introduced, I think, like middle school. I had a lot of friends in middle school that started smoking in middle school. That was crazy.
All of my kids that have gone through middle school or junior high say there's weed everywhere.
Weed, vaping, any of the hard stuff.
Vaping's weird because you can get it at the gas station. And if you're listening in a state where there isn't legalized recreational, most states, recreational marijuana is 18 to buy, right?
Yeah.
Or is it 21? I guess I don't know.
Marijuana? I don't know.
But it made me interested when you said that your mom used to hold parties for the DARE kids.
Well, no, just one. We did a huge celebration, a taco bar. I remember all my friends were over, the whole 5th grade.
Was at your house?
Yeah, she hosted. And it was really fun. We had like a slip and slide, and it was like...
Is your mom really, really, really like anti-drug?
Well, my mom's never done drugs, but like she was one...
You're telling me your mom's never puffed a doobie in a bathroom
My
at a
mom has
concert?
never done anything like that, ever. Her only vice is a good mimosa or a mojito.
Crocs
Crocs are her biggest
Crocs
vice.
get her high?
Yep. So it's that natural high that comes from buying a new
breathable footwear.
set of plastic shoes. But I want to know, the question is like, have you stuck to your DARE contract? You stood up in front of everybody, including Darren the Lion, and he said, I will go the rest of my life without...
I didn't take that oath because I probably already knew that I was going to try some stuff.
Really?
Yeah. I've never tried the hard stuff.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But I'm not going to lie to you. I don't have a problem with legalized marijuana. I've done my own research. I don't have a problem with it. You do whatever you want. But I've never done the heroin or the cocaine or the methamphetamines and stuff
I've never
like
hung
that.
with a crowd that did that, so I think that's half your battle right there. I don't like feeling out of control. I don't like taking like Oxy and stuff like. I joke about it, which it's funny to
It is
joke
hard
about
when
it,
you
but I
can't
don't.
control your own thoughts. I remember the very first college party I walked into, and a guy was cutting up a line of cocaine on the
my
desk.
God.
And I had a 12-pack of beer in my backpack.
Yeah.
And I walk in with my roommate, and I walk in the front door of this quad, and this guy's chopping up a giant line on a table.
Yeah.
And I looked at my room and I go, Ben, we gotta go.
That's the
And he goes,
best thing you
no,
can
this is
do.
going to be. I go, I'm leaving. I was convinced that the police were right behind me.
Yeah.
And that I was going to go to prison for this guy doing coke.
I just have this conversation with Liam all the time because I'm like, listen, you can call me anytime to get you out of a situation. Just leave. Do the Irish goodbye. Nobody has to know that you even left the party. But if you're busted there and you're hardcore into sports, you're done. And he is hardcore into sports. That I would just hate to see things go downhill for him.
So Darren, the DARE Lion, came into your classroom and you took the oath. Is there anyone still listening that actually
Stay
has
true.
stuck to the oath?
Yeah. It's a big one.
Don't do drugs. Oh, don't you do it now. Don't do drugs. Someone pays you for a move when they say come on, be cool. Just be smart and heed this rule. Don't do drugs.
Sometimes easier said than done if you're running with that crew, man. But I think what you need to teach your kid is to just count on you. That's all I do is just reiterate over and over again. Don't ever not call me if you need to get out of a situation.
Kat saw this picture of these DARE pencils that they hand out, and they recalled a bunch of them because it basically says, don't do drugs.
Yeah.
But then if you sharpen them down,
It says do
it
drugs.
says do drugs. So we thought,
Message lost.
is anyone listening that actually took that DARE pledge in 5th grade and hasn't? And then all of a sudden Kevin shows up. Now, Kevin, do you remember the day you took the pledge?
I don't recall the exact day. I just remember the whole ceremony and pomp and circumstance that went.
Yeah.
Was the cop there? Did he give you like a certificate or something?
Yes, he did.
Now, was
And-
there, remind me, both of you, was there drugs and alcohol? Or
Yeah,
just
yeah.
drugs?
Substances, cigarettes, alcohol, drugs. Yeah, I mean, that was back in the day, so it didn't cover vaping. That wasn't a thing. Or
You're
anything.
telling me that cop didn't go home and have a cold one?
Yeah, but before you were adult, I think that was the thing that I remember.
Oh,
them
before
pressing.
you were
They
21,
said it's
okay.
before you're 21, and then they were very heavy against no cigarettes. It's going to kill you.
Yeah.
And then obviously drugs are really bad for you. And you've kept that promise the whole time, Kevin?
Yep.
Amazing.
Before the DARE pledge in 5th grade, me and my buddy stole a cigarette out of my mom's purse, and my buddy smoked or did a smoke ring, and we thought it was the coolest thing, but that was my only interaction with taking a puff of a cigarette.
And you didn't have any booze before you were 21?
And still to this day, correct.
Wow, so you've
That's
stayed substance
amazing.
for, how can I ask how old you are?
37.
Good for you. You know, my dad took one swig of a beer once when he was younger, and he never touched alcohol or drugs ever in his life aside from that moment.
Friends that I have that don't drink or do any of this, they say, because they knew that there was a family history, like grandpa was an alcoholic,
Sure.
dad was an alcoholic. Is that kind of the thing with you, Kevin, or you're just like, nah, there was no appeal?
Yeah, 100% the same thing. My dad did drugs, sold drugs. He was an alcoholic. So I looked at him in my life and I went, I don't want to be like that, and I know these things lead to that, so I'm not going to do that.
Okay,
Yeah.
so let's flip the script then. What's a lot of people will go home, like Kat said, you'll have a cold one after work, or on the weekends you get together with your buddies and have a couple of beers or whatever. What do you do in place of that? What are your hobbies and stuff?
Keep myself busy, hiking, doing projects around the house. I understand that because of it being in my family, that addictive brain cell that everyone kind of has for something. I just have to keep myself busy with other things. I know I have to keep my mind occupied in other ways.
How cool are the people around you about not putting too much pressure on you, or are you just like, whatever, have a beer, have a cigarette, I don't care, I'm not going to go for it?
It actually annoys me when they won't drink around me,
Yeah.
or whatever they want to do. If they want to chew some gummies when we're hiking out in Colorado or whatever the hell's going on, it annoys me that they don't want to do it in front of me. It's like, dude, we're bros. Like, just do your thing, man. I ain't going to judge you. It's just not for me, and that's totally cool. If you want to do your thing and have some fun, I do not care.
You know, Kat's husband has been sober for 18 years, and every time that we're out, it doesn't bother him that we'll have a beer, or if we're down in Mexico that, guys are going to the swim-up bar, like it doesn't, at least he says it doesn't bother him. Now, I don't know, if they get back to the hotel room and he's like, I need a nap to kind of forget about this or whatever, but I do appreciate that thought where you're like, hey, this is my choice. It doesn't necessarily have to impact your choice. So, well, good for you, man. This is fun to hear from you. I really appreciate it. Hope you have a good day.
You too, man.
Kevin kept the promise.
That's very impressive.
You're right. It is impressive in a world full of vices out there that are so easy to get to.
Oh, we should have asked him what his vices are.
Well, he kind of said it was hiking and
No,
stuff like that.
that's what he does instead.
Oh,
Like
do you think you
vices-
have to have a vice?
I don't know. Maybe he's a gambler. Maybe he doesn't.
Do you feel like you have a vice? Is your vice your self-care stuff?
Probably Botox, yeah. Like my vice is to always look younger than I am.
When do you think it'll start working?
So weird.
Weird stuff. Everybody called me weird. I am weird.
You don't think this is a little weird?
No, I don't think it's weird at all.
Weird news.
All right, weird news. A woman did not like that her neighbor's doorbell cam could film her just walking her dog, so she took it upon herself to relocate it.
Here's this doorbell. Because seriously, if not, I'm going to have to start slamming on the door. I'm not okay with that. No, you know what? I'm not okay with that.
She ripped her ring doorbell right off.
So she's walking by with who I assume is her partner, her husband, or whatever, but they're walking their dog and she hears the ring doorbell go, "You are being recorded." And she didn't like that.
Oh, wow. It says that?
I guess. And then she just said, "Oh, really?" And walks onto their property and vandalizes their property. And of course, they caught up with her because her face is right there in the ring cam. But if you have nothing to hide, I think she's just upset that Big Brother can watch.
That's kind of an interesting topic, though. I mean, think about it. You're on a city street. You're minding your own business. I guess you are in public, so is that okay to film anybody that's in public?
Sure. I would assume anywhere I go, I'm being videotaped. That's why I do weird stuff to keep people talking.
That's why I scratch my booty all the time.
That is what's weird.
Radio Papa.
So Jim Carrey weighing in. He was not at the Oscars this year. He was watching it at home on his couch, and thank God he was, or he probably would have started some stuff.
I was sickened. I was sickened by the standing ovation. I felt like Hollywood is just spineless, en masse. It really felt like, oh, this is a really clear indication that we're not the cool club anymore. If you want to yell from the audience and disapprove or say something on Twitter or whatever, you do not have the right to walk up on stage and smack somebody in the face because they said words.
Very, very true. And I think if he were there, do you think he would have stood up and said something?
I don't know if
Actually,
Jim Carrey's the type of guy that's going to start a brawl at the Oscars, but I think a lot of people were like, I wish I would have said or done something. It was so shocking.
I know.
Like, it just really took people back.
All right, Kim K. It looks like Kanye not super happy with her posting this on Instagram, but what parent doesn't post this stuff? Kim K is a parent too, and her 8-year-old daughter, North, singing We Don't Talk About Bruno, and she killed it.
No, we don't talk about Bruno. Bruno's not starting something. I could always hear him muttering and mumbling. I hear the sound of falling sand. Bruno's like a quick
She got flow like her dad.
Family fumbling, mumbling, and I couldn't understand. Do you understand?
Not bad.
No, it's not
Why
good.
are you putting her down? She's 8.
It's not good.
Not good. 4 million views so far
So,
this morning. All right. An encounter between Lady Gaga and Caitlyn Jenner outside the Elton John AIDS Foundation's annual Academy Award viewing party. Don't ever make me say that again. It was very awkward. Caitlyn's like, why don't we hang out anymore?
Yes.
Are you still out there?
Yes.
I haven't seen you with I know. Well, good seeing you, Caitlin.
So Lady Gaga was having none of that, and Caitlyn was like, hey, I haven't seen you at Starbucks lately in Malibu. And Gaga just says, I found a new barista, and just kind of looked away.
oh, just don't want anything to do. There's got to be beef there.
There's got to be beef. There's something that is going on. Blowing out their candles today. It's like the 90s. You ready? Donna D'Ergo from Baywatch. Ian Ziering from 90210. Tracy Chapman, who reigns supreme, is 58. And then MC Hammer is 60 today.
We've got email, we've got email.
As soon as I read this, when I came into the studio this morning, I said, we have to make this part of the show today. Hey, guys, my son's 7th grade teacher borrowed his sweater because she was cold. Now, my son is a very good-looking young man. A lot of girls like him. His teacher is a very attractive 23-year-old woman. When I picked him up from school yesterday, I noticed she took off his hoodie and gave it back to him. It reminded me of my middle school girlfriend when she would wear my Letterman's jacket.
Yeah.
I thought it was odd and inappropriate. I asked my son about it. He said his teacher gets cold a lot and borrows his jacket or sweater all the time. Yesterday wasn't that cold. What the hell is going on? Am I reading too much into this? Should I make a big deal out of this and inform someone at the school? Jennifer.
Yeah. When you read this earlier to me, I did not get a good feeling. Like, if she's cold often and knows that she is going to be chilly at school, why don't you have a sweater on the back of your chair like every other teacher does? Like a little cardigan to put over you. I think that's it's weird.
I think most of us got the same impression. Like, you want to give someone the benefit of the doubt that they're 23 and not macking on your 7th grade son.
Yeah, 7th grade too, though.
Jeez.
I don't even know what age
13.
that is. 13, okay.
13 years old.
No, I wouldn't be okay with that. I would say, how often does she get cold? All the time?
Do you tell the principal? She didn't do anything wrong, really, right?
I think you should just take the mature route and email her and just say, hey, I see that you're borrowing students' clothing. It's not a cute look, and we really like you as a teacher. Just wanted to give you a heads up. You don't need to blind CC anybody. You don't have to CC anybody like Howards do.
But can't you kind of be proud that you got a good-looking kid that's attracting a 23-year-old woman?
No, it is
that's
not something to hang my hat on. Nope.
We've got email. We've got email. Got email. Got email. We've got email.
I got to read you this email real quick that we got from Jennifer because it gave us the feels. My son's 7th grade teacher, quote unquote, borrowed his sweater because she was cold. My son's pretty good looking. A lot of girls like him. 7th grade, by the way, guys. His teacher's a very attractive, young 23-year-old woman. When I picked him up from school yesterday, I noticed she took off his hoodie, gave it back to him. Reminded me of being in middle school and giving my girlfriend my Letterman's jacket. I thought it was odd and inappropriate. I asked my son about it. He said, my teacher gets cold a lot and wears my jacket or sweater. Yesterday was not cold. What the hell is going on here? Am I reading too much into this? Should I make a big deal out of this? Jennifer, would you make a big deal out of it if it was Liam?
I would not make a big deal out of it. I don't think a big deal has to be made. I think 23, you're just starting your career as a teacher. You don't know everything, and sometimes you slip up. I have a relative that he is a teacher, and he puts a lot on his social media. Sometimes he'll film his whole class and put them on his Snap, and I've just been like, listen, dude, you can't do that because not all parents like that, you know? So sometimes you just got to give it to them straight. They're still young. Matt says my 9th grade daughter had a young male gym teacher that borrowed her his sweatshirt when she mentioned she was cold. She's a very cute girl. I told her next time you run down to the Lost and Found. And Chelsea says teachers don't look like they used to. As a mom of 2 boys that get a lot of attention from girls, I would not be happy to see this. I think just a quick email. Just to say, listen, you're a great teacher. I don't want this to overshadow what you do.
Hey, Brittany, I saw your text. What does this remind you of?
The movie That's My Boy with Adam Sandler and Adam whatever his other Adam is in that movie with.
I don't know if I've ever seen
how
this.
Adam Sandler's young and there's the hot teacher and they end up getting together.
Okay.
So you think this is like a gateway to them hooking up, huh?
I don't know, but it's weird. As I've worked in a children's hospital for 3 years and other settings with children, and there should be usually like rule standards. You know, this is a professional line, this is a personal line, and if you feel like you're maybe crossing that line, then it's probably not a good idea.
He's 13, she's 23. That's only 10 years.
If you're a 13-year-old boy and you get any attention from a hot 23-year-old woman, you will do whatever she says. You will do whatever. And if she's like,
so chilly, can I borrow your sweatshirt? Absolutely.
What do you think of this, Brittany? Carly texted in. She says, don't wreck her career because you feel uneasy about something.
I agree, and maybe she doesn't know, but to me, as having a 11-year-old son, if my son came home and said, my teacher always borrows my sweater, I'd be like, why can't she afford her own sweater?
Yeah, or remember, you're 23, bring your own sweatshirt.
I get that teachers are underpaid, but it's time to maybe bring
There's
a hoodie.
There's got to be another teacher that has a sweater for you.
Right.
You got to hear this text. Tim says, amateur move, son. Don't you prefer to see what happens when she gets cold?
Oh, my God. Gross.
Exactly.
That's what I love about our audience.
Eliza says don't make a huge deal of it. I don't think you should. I don't think you should draw unnecessary attention. Maybe it is just a quick email. Think of if you're older and you have a daughter that's in her early 20s, is she always making good decisions, even if she is a teacher? I think it's okay to shoot her a quick email.
Hey,
say,
you know what else, guys? You know what nobody brought up? Why don't you wait till, doesn't the bookstore open and you can go get her a, sweatshirt with the school name on it?
You don't. That's not your job.
I know,
what
but
are you talking about?
gift it to her. Hey, thanks for a great year. I'll leave my kid alone.
Jessica says,
thanks, Brittany. Appreciate your call.
Taught my son to be a gentleman. So if a woman is cold, he should offer his sweatshirt. Just being a gentleman. This is a young man, 13. The lobes are not developed. He's just ready to go.
This is the time of the year where the word dibs starts giving me shivers.
Why?
Well, because if you belong to a youth organization, your kids play any sports, you might use the volunteer tracking thing called dibs. I know I introduced it to you guys.
We are using it, but the average parent only has to volunteer for 2 hours.
Yeah.
So if we did our clinics and you stood there for 2 hours, you're done.
Here's what I noticed. My wife and I, when our son started playing hockey, they're like, yeah, you got to do 4 volunteer hours. I'm like, oh, no problem. That's great. Because I don't coach hockey. I never played, so I don't skate, and I don't really know much about it. I know how to yell when things I think are wrong.
Yeah.
But I didn't mind opening the doors for the little kids or going to tryouts and, helping them or supervising the dressing room and stuff like that. So that was never a big deal. What amazed me was when I found out that parents would just pay the $250 and not volunteer the 4 hours.
$250. It's $150 where we are.
But I'm sure it varies, but I was just like, wow, they'll pay that?
Yeah, and I have.
Oh, my gosh, you're kidding me.
Because throughout COVID, you had to pay that for baseball, and there were no opportunities to.
Oh, well, then that's bad on the organization. They should make sure that there's enough opportunities, right? So I started just kind of thinking that this is the heavy part of the year. And my wife has always been like, she'll do the bookkeeping or the treasury thing for baseball teams or hockey teams while my kids are playing. And I've just always coached. So it's not hard for us to get our volunteer hours in. But like some of these volunteer gigs are really, really horrible. We have a guy that sits on our baseball board that has to basically put together the schedule for all the concession workers.
Yeah.
And I'm like, that dude is grinding. That is because kids don't care. They're 16-year-old kids.
Yeah.
And they'll just go, I'm not coming into work today. Well, what do you mean? There's not like a work ethic there. And so I feel bad for that guy. But what do you think is the worst volunteer job in the history of the world?
I would have to say, but it does come with perks. I'm going to say for my dad and my older brother, they volunteer as the waste management crew for the 3M Golf Championship. But you get 2 free polos, you get a windbreaker, and then you also get access to one of the 3 parties that are thrown, which is kind of cool. You could run into different golf people, but you get full access. Like you have that badge, you can go anywhere.
Booze and food and stuff for free too then?
1 out of the 3 parties.
Yeah. So if they go to one of the parties, they can hang out with Tiger Woods and have cocktails all night long.
But to have full access to anywhere, there is trash, which there is trash everywhere. Yeah. And then to keep everything clean, they've been doing it for almost 2 decades.
I think it's
been a while.
Different if that's your job, right? Every day you get on the back of the garbage truck, you pull in the cans, right? You find a way to make it fun.
It's just like an oversized golf cart with a trailer. So it's not like a big vehicle or anything. It's kind of a cool gig if you think about it. You get 5 days in the sun, free clothes, and then access to, and then you're able to watch all the stuff. You're just kind of like idle.
You're picking up garbage while people are.
Someone has to.
To volunteer to do it is just a little bit of a trip to me.
I think the people that pick up trash on the side of the road, that's got to be the worst. I know you
adopt a highway?
But you could get hit at any time. That it's not the fact that you're picking up trash. It's so treacherous.
That's why I would do it in the dark with dark clothes on so that people, didn't hit you.
Good idea.
Mike, tell me about the volunteer situation.
There's an organization that for 2 years I had volunteered at the Benton County Fair to put on wristbands for the all-you-can-ride day.
Oh.
Why did you volunteer for that?
A weak moment in time and the lack of volunteers globally.
Now, what was so bad about it?
I think it was just the arguing and people trying to get one for free and people offering me cash for one and just a terrible scenario that plays out in the Benton County Fair stereotypes.
Yeah, I was going to say, can we all agree that, there's a lot of things that we stereotype in life and most of them are unjust, but almost every time somebody gives you the stereotype of the Benton County Fair goer on a Tuesday or on a Thursday afternoon, it's accurate?
Winner.
Our winner of the worst volunteer job ever is Tina, who does Earth Day cleanup roadside in an industrial park. She said trucker pee bottles are everywhere.
Yeah, truckers do better. I follow a guy on TikTok who's a trucker, and he does all of his hacks for being a good trucker and keeping himself safe.
Is pee bottles one of them?
No, he is a clean guy. He has his own portable commode. He has his own toothpaste dispenser on the back of his little door there.
He's got it all wired up, huh?
He showed how to keep himself safe when he sleeps. You don't just lock the cab of your truck.
What do you do?
You take the seatbelt and you put it through the handle of your truck door, and then you lock it that way too, just in case.
Oh, they pick your lock. They still can't get it off.
Yeah.
Oh.
So anyway, I couldn't agree more. That would be pretty disgusting.
Can you imagine walking around with a plastic bag having to pick up pee bottles?
You should.
Listen, if that's your job, that's fine. You're making money. You're providing for your family. I get that. But at a volunteer situation?
Yeah.
Woo!
I know. That
no
sounds really
bueno.
So I heard about this girl, and I felt so bad. How often did you hold in your gas when you started dating somebody? You hold it in all the time. You don't want to be rude and show your true colors right away. And there was a girl that was sent to the ER because she held in her farts
Did you hear that? Oh my God. I must have like 6 months worth of farts built up.
No, anyways, she couldn't fart in front of her boyfriend.
Yeah.
She had all of this gas built up. She ends up in the ER.
It was doing major damage to her insides. Like you keep that much, is it methane?
It's,
what is it?
Well,
or is that from cows?
I think that's, yeah, right. That's
I don't know.
Your waste, but it's the gases. It's the built-up gases.
It's serious stuff.
You have to get rid of them one way or the other, right?
Yeah, either say, I got to step outside and grab something from my car like Derek used to do and just let it roll. Because if you keep it inside too long, I saw a post from one of our coworkers, and he has been with his wife for over a decade, and they have never tooted in front of each other.
Too much pressure,
ever.
literally.
And he has said out loud, if she does, he's going to feel a certain way. I said, you can't say that.
My wife did it the other night. We were watching Mrs. Maisel, and she blamed it on the dog. And I go, there's no way the dog smells like that.
Oh, it was a silent one?
You got to take credit for that. Like, we've been married too long for you to not take credit for that.
Yeah.
It's like, I swear it wasn't me.
Yeah.
And dog's on the other side of the room going, don't look at me like this.
I know. I hate to lift the veil of my sexiness, but I've woken Derek up a couple of times. I didn't feel good about it, but it happens. You know, you're sleeping, whatever. So is this a spot that you're in right now? I just wanted to warn all the women and the men out there. Your digestive system is in peril if you hold this gas in.
I think by the time I got to my first real relationship, I had taken my biology courses and I knew enough about the human body.
Yeah.
That I knew that this had to happen. I'd been around enough guys in the gym, too, pushing heavy weight.
Yeah.
And usually you get especially leg presses, squats, deadlifts. There's guys that really, really blow out.
Yeah.
And a lot of times it has a company.
Oh,
you know
my
what
God.
I mean? And it just is part of the everyday thing. So I think the first time I heard my wife fart, I was like, oh, that's cute. You know what I mean? Like, it's just
Cute
whatever.
little duck or
I
what?
just like the fact that you're comfortable enough. But are you in a relationship where you're still not farting in front of somebody else?
What's the deal? Have you gone over a decade like one of our coworkers? That's crazy to me. This famous singer in Brazil, she is going viral because she went to the ER, a beautiful woman, and beautiful women do not pass gas. The myth has been proven, except for she has to now because it did like severe damage to her intestines. So turns out just all of the gas buildup did a number, and now she says, I'm just going to let it fly. She was so embarrassed to let it fly in front of her boyfriend for so long.
Can you imagine holding it in long enough where you get admitted to the hospital?
Yeah, it did that much damage. So whether she let it out another time, but it was...
It's like dropping Mentos into a Pepsi bottle.
Yes.
That's what happens, guys. That's literally what happens.
I feel so bad for her, but like a lot of people are in this position. We work with somebody that over a decade with his wife, she's never heard either of them fart ever. I'm like, how does that even happen?
Not even like when one of them's sleeping?
Yeah. A little breathy one on your thigh.
You guys both haven't had like 4 or 5 like 4 or 5 beers and just you just up the stairs, you know what I mean?
I guess not.
You ever had one where you go
yeah
with every step? You've never had one of those?
No.
Little popcorns after every step? Just
that sounds cute. But yeah, he legit said it out loud. He would feel a certain way about his wife of over 10 years with 2 kids.
Farting in front of your loved ones. Amy, thoughts?
I get why, she's embarrassed, super embarrassed, and wanted to, keep this private. And because who wants to put one's stinky business out there? And she didn't want to do it in front of her boyfriend. I understand that. But once you open that door a crack, and pretty soon it's a floodgate opening, and you're seeing things you don't want to see. He's seeing things he doesn't want to see, and and then how do you be sexy again? Where does the sexy go?
So is it safe to say that you just don't pass gas in front of people that you're with?
I mean, seriously, I don't want to give my friends pink eye.
that is a myth. All right, thanks. Spring concert time in the UK, and they have all the kids get on stage. Excuse me, and they say, listen, we're going to sing a special song for Mom, and she's going to love it. And so they did.
I don't understand any of that.
Does the cleaning and shopping and makes a wonderful tea. My mom is ever so clever. She's just, and a lot of people, it went on and on talking about all the traditional roles that mom should play.
So it's probably a song
At
that was
home.
written in like the 60s.
Probably. And maybe they were just
And let me guess, people are losing their bananas about it.
taking it because it was charming. Yes, a lot of people are like, this is a woke culture now. We need to teach these kids that the moms are out in the business world. They're making their own money, bringing home the bacon and frying it up in that pan. And so some people just felt a certain way.
How do you feel?
If I had the opportunity and Derek made hella cash, I would stay home.
I don't think you would.
But it wouldn't be just like a stay home all day. I would make plans. I would go volunteer at Liam's school. I would maybe go drive old people to where they have to be.
But if he went to work, you would expect to do the cleaning and the shopping, yes?
If I was a stay-at-home mom, I believe, and I've always said this, that the house should be spotless, to be honest. And if I had a stay-at-home man, the house should be spotless. It just should be that way. The person leaves the house and they go make the money, and this is your job at home. You know, even if you have kids in the house, you could teach them how to clean as well.
Yeah,
Take the
how's
load
that
off
work?
you a little
Somebody
bit.
help me with that. Because my kids are
whenever
pigs.
I ask him to.
Mine are pigs. They're stinky, gross pigs.
Natasha, start dialing because I want you to explain why you're saying what you're saying. I don't think I would feel that way if I were a stay-at-home mom.
So I mean, if you're a mom, I get it. If you're working just as much as where your partner is, then yeah, you share those duties. But
I think we've talked about this before where we've had women call in and say, like, I truly love the idea of a traditional stay-at-home wife model.
hold on, your options are get up early, go to work for a boss that doesn't appreciate you for less money than you deserve, or stay at home and take care of your family. Who doesn't take number two?
I know, especially with younger kids, it's just kind of a no-brainer. So, I don't know. Ben had already texted throughout that commercial break. He says, I've always tried to get my wife to stay at home. We pay like crazy for daycare,
Wow, that's
and we
part
have
of it, yeah.
3 young kids under the age of 5. That would be a necessity to stay home.
I'm going to play a little bit more of this spring concert from these kids in the UK. And if you can't hear it, basically they're just talking about, like, you know, mom does the shopping. She makes some great tea. Does the cleaning and shopping. Makes a wonderful tea. So this set off a whole group of moms going, this is not the way it is anymore. Do not teach my kid to sing that the women do the shopping and the cleaning.
Yeah. And I can see both ways. I really can. If you're a hardworking mom and you get out there and you're hustling in the business world, you don't want to be made to feel guilty because you're not making a wonderful cup of tea. I get that. But I do understand the appeal of staying at home and raising your kids and keeping your house clean for your husband. I can see both ways.
Jen, thoughts on this whole thing?
I have a very traditional role in my family, and I am home doing all those things that the kids were singing about. And I'm not ashamed of it. I'm proud of what I do. And I think if kids were, if this was more focused on, they would understand that this is a really important part of life and that women should be home taking care of the family.
Is this like your whole life, or do you have a job aside from this traditional role?
My job is to be a wife and a mother to my children.
There it is.
Okay. And I'm sure you take that job very seriously, which any job that you have, you should take seriously.
Natasha, I see that your text says the stay-at-home mom thing sucks. Why is that?
Okay, so bear with me. I was working a lot, and then I got with my now husband, and I got pregnant, and I had a lot of health issues, so I stayed home for the first 2 years.
Okay.
And it's hard. Like, staying home, going from working 16-hour days to staying home, having the expectation that you have to have the house clean, you have to have supper ready, you have to take care of this baby. You're tired, you're taking care of the baby, and then in the middle of the night, you have to get up instead, because your husband, your boyfriend, your whoever is, he's the hardworking guy. He has to go to work. It's hard. It's more than people think. Granted, I know everybody's different, but everybody's like, oh, I just want to stay home. And I mean, yes, it's great, but it is hard. I need to keep busy. I need to do things, but granted, I loved being home with her because he was able to, witness the milestones of her, our daughter's life because he works Monday through Saturday. So it's like he would have missed every single milestone. But
yeah,
to be honest, I would have rather worked. And now we both work full time, and it's a split role. Like, I'll do the laundry, but he will, every once in a while he does the dishes. We cook together.
Every once in a while, she says. She says, I do this, and then every once in a while.
Natasha, I do not think that staying at home with kids is easy. I don't think that it would be that way. I think they're always running around wrecking what you just cleaned. I completely think that it would be a tough job. Those are just my expectations. If I were to stay at home, I would expect that from myself, or if Derek did, I would expect that from him.
Hey, Natasha, let's flip this on its side real quick. We understand the what's hard about it, but give me one great thing about staying at home for 2 years with your daughter, like staying in your jammies, or you can brush your teeth in the middle of the day because you don't have to talk to anybody. What was like one really good thing that you remember?
The quality time with my child.
Yeah.
I just, instead of throwing her at a daycare, having to put her in school, I got to spend the first 2 years of her life, and we could FaceTime her dad while he was on break, so he got to see her. You can't necessarily do that in a daycare, and that is what I loved.
You know what's going to happen, though? You're going to remember this, and she's going to turn 16, and she's going to be a little bee to you, and you are going to be like, oh, my God, don't you remember the sacrifices I made for the first 2 years of your life?
Give her until she's 23, and then you'll be best friends again.
She's 4. She's already 4 and gives me that attitude.
Good.
That's hell no. Mine.
Good for you. This is going to be fun. Keep us posted. Have a great day. Appreciate it. How do you feel about this? Number one, were you offended by the song? Number two, you good with being a stay-at-home mom? I would struggle with this. My ADD is too bad. I have to always be doing something.
But
I would
and you
really
can.
struggle.
Why can't you always be doing something if you're at home?
Because I'm too efficient.
Well, then find something fun to do. Go meet up with people. Go do
I don't like people.
Kids groups. Okay.
I don't like other kids.
You're a lost cause.
Yep.
Radio Paparazzi.
I should start talking here. Okay, so Caitlyn Jenner has always spilled the beans. Like, she never keeps her lips shut when it comes to her family's business. And, of course, everyone wants to know what Kylie named her son. They scratched the name Wolf, and now they're going for a different name. And who do you go to find the answer? Caitlyn.
When you have a little child, and we have a lot of them, the little baby comes out and you think of what the name should be, but then all of a sudden you get him in your arms and you play with him and you spend a little time with you and saying, I don't know if that name fits. Maybe it's another name. So that's Kylie's decision. And when she officially announces it, I think it's very good.
All right, so there's your answer. Do you like the answer?
It's very good. They're going to name their baby very good?
Yep, it's going to be...
Very good Jenner?
Very good Jenner. It's cute. Will Smith's mom, Carolyn Smith, weighing in on what happened with her baby.
He is a very even people person, and that's the first time I've ever seen him go off. The first time in his lifetime. As I said, I've never seen him do that.
I'm buying it.
That's mom ride or die, though. Like, I'd probably say the exact same thing. You don't want to paint your baby in a bad light at all. So, I don't know. Rapper Tyler, the Creator, who I think is one of the most overhyped people on the planet, but he posted a video of a recent concert just to set the record straight. Do not throw anything on stage.
I don't understand the logic of throwing your up here, not only for safety reasons, but bro, I don't want your I don't want it. Like, I'm not even being funny. Like, why do you think I want your Then if I slip and break my foot, stop throwing up here, bro. Now you look stupid. Now everyone around you is looking at you like...
Oh, they start getting booed. They start
turned
heckling
on
him.
I know. They turned on the guy that threw it. They were all just staring at him. Blowing out their candles today, we have Eric Clapton turning 77. Paul Reiser is 66. He's 20 years older than you. How
Paul
crazy
Reiser.
is that?
Yeah.
Paul Reiser from with
Mad About You?
Yeah.
And Starsky.
That's unbelievable. I didn't realize he was that old. And MC Hammer is 60 today.
Wednesday vibes popping, and welcome to Hump Day. How's Kat?
I am good. How are you?
How did your annual go yesterday when your doctor looked at you and said you are a raging bill of health?
Yep. In other words, according to medical professionals, throwing air quotes up, I am considered obese.
Everybody is. The scale they use is
It hurt my heart.
it's pretty difficult
I hate
to
it.
understand. Everybody's obese according to that.
The thing is, it's like things are fitting me better than they ever have. Like, this is a large sweatshirt, and it's got a lot of room. Look
Feel
at
good
this
about
room.
yourself. That's all that matters.
But I do have to start exercising more. It did give me a lot of time to think about stuff. Like, I had to go make appointments to get my blood drawn because they're going to check my thyroid and then cholesterol just to make sure.
Gotta get
but
baselines.
It gave me time to think about like important things. It was weird. Like, I think that every time crab is delivered to your table, it should come in a steam box. Like, I started thinking about that stuff.
You're
you
just
know,
looking to make the
Like,
world better. That's what I like about you.
when they say that you're too overweight, you start thinking about food that you love. And I'm just like,
Oh, you don't
I
want to give it up?
crab. And then I'm like, you know what they should start doing? Because by the time you get to your last crab leg, it's cold. And you're like, they should come in a steam box.
Well,
So maybe
without
they should get on
struggle,
that.
there's really no sense of victory.
There's really not. So by the time I get to my goal, which I don't even know what my goal is, maybe for them to not say that word the next time I visit.
It's always there, man. I'm telling you, when I was the most fit in my life, I was obese.
Really?
Yeah.
Could my muscle weigh more than fat?
Muscle does weigh more than
It
fat.
has to.
They-
Like,
and that-
my
they don't-
thighs, listen to how, like, they're strong. I'm not even flexing and they're not even moving.
Okay.
So had that done, and I narrowly avoided a nice little pelvic exam. So, like,
How do you
I thought
avoid that? You just keep your legs shut and say no?
First, like, a PAP is every 4 years, but then in between there, they like to do a little checking around down there. I didn't know that. I thought
every
it was
4
like
years. You don't get one every year.
a PAP.
Yeah.
No, that's like the super invasive get up there.
Oh, why wouldn't you?
But they do like pelvic exams where they still check you down there every single time, which I didn't know, and I told her no. I go, no, I'll do it next
I'm not
next
prepared?
year. Well, I just said, like, I don't want to. I don't feel like it.
But listen, they do it for your own well-being, like to make sure that there's something they can
understand.
catch before it gets like
That's great.
terminal.
Didn't feel like it yesterday. Didn't you ever just like not feel like getting touched down there?
Well, no, never. Never once in my entire life
Being a guy,
have I been like,
sorry.
hey, don't touch me there.
So yeah, there was that, and then I went home and made some drumsticks and grilled green peppers. So that was good, and that's that.
Well, ready for JJ's old man moment of the day?
Yes.
I got excited. So I'm at the hospital with my wife yesterday. She's got her week of chemo, and I notice on my Arlo cam a delivery
of.
Oh, what could that giant box be? Could that be my inversion table?
Oh my God!
I
How
got
much
home-
did you spend on
I got
that?
home. Well, I don't know. It was like $200. Not that big
For
of
an
a-
inversion table?
Yeah, I mean they go all the way up to like $500 for like the Cadillacs.
Oh, I would think
Yeah.
more. Okay.
And so I get home, I put it together yesterday. And I'll tell you what, like I didn't really have a whole lot of back pain yesterday.
Yeah.
But as I've been going to the chiropractor, he's really been working me out, and it's good. I have less and less and less. And he's like, you got to get one of these so you can quit coming here.
Yeah.
And I was like, wow, you don't continually want my money? And I thought that was kind of a good thing. And I got it together and I used it. I feel like $1 million this morning.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Did a good stretch.
It's-
you know what
oh
you
my
got to
gosh.
do? Really freak your kids out. Like in a dark room, put it
Just
in the
be hanging
corner
upside
and just and Batman. Like, do weird stuff like that.
But the thing is, you don't go all the way back, right? You're only supposed to go like a 15, maybe 30 degree angle.
Yeah.
And so my son and I were kind of messing around with it yesterday, doing like the 90 degree where you're completely upside down.
Yeah.
And then what's the hardest is it's really hard to get back up. But I'll tell you what, so far so good. I woke up and I felt good. And usually by the time we get to like this part of the show, I'm like feeling a little bit creaky and cracky and stuff.
Yeah.
Not so much. What's the name of the Selena Gomez, Steve Martin, and Martin Short thing? Is it Death in a Hotel? Or
Only murders in the building.
And what's it on? Is that on Hulu only?
Yes.
Dang it,
is
I don't have Hulu.
So good. I cannot wait for the next season.
All I saw was the teasers for the next season. Did you see it where they're in the elevator and it opens up and it's Selena and Steve and Martin? And I saw all the bloopers from it.
Yeah.
And I'm like, Selena Gomez is a national treasure.
Okay.
You don't think she's funny?
Yeah, I think she's funny, but she's like super dry. I wouldn't say she's like a classic comic, but she's a very good
I
actress.
think she's just as dry as Martin Short, and I think that's why it works. Like,
Martin Short is the show. He steals the show. He will make you laugh so hard that you will need a break. It's a very good show.
What's Hulu run you a month? $10?
I will have to ask who I steal it from.
The Playhouse Podcast is made possible thanks to Bradshaw and Bryan Law Offices. Catch the live show weekdays from 5:30 to 9 on 104.7 KCLD. Now, share this with a friend.